Before Remembrance Day, Canadians used to recognize February 27th as Paardeberg Day. The Second Anglo-Boer War had proved costlier than the British imagined, and for the first time, Canadian troops were raised and sent as distinct Canadian units to serve in a war outside of Canada. There, the Royal Canadian Regiment would see some of the bloodiest fighting in the conflict in what was a turning point in the war. Having suffered three costly defeats at the hands of the Boers in what was called the Black Week the previous December, a British force had managed to trap and besiege a Boer force of some 4,500 under the command of General Piet Cronje at a place the Boers called Paardeberg, meaning in their Afrikaans language, Horse Hill. While the Boer force was greatly outnumbered and surrounded, they held a strong entrenched position, and the British commander, Lieutenant General Horatio Kitchener, concerned that Boer reinforcements were coming, decided to throw his troops at the Boers in a frontal assault. The Royal Canadians took the brunt of the casualties in the failed attacks on what was called Bloody Sunday on February 18th. But a second attack by the Canadians, supported by Royal Engineers on February 27th, compelled Cronje to surrender. The surrender of nearly 10% of the Boer army was a significant turning point in the war and the beginning of the end for the Boer field armies. But it was also a turning point for the Canadians, who received a great degree of credit for the victory. Field Marshal Lord Roberts, the commander of the British forces in South Africa, said of the Canadians, "There were as good a lot of men as were in the British Army." Canadian now stands for bravery, dash, and courage. Major General Sir Horace Smith's Dorian said of the Canadians, "There are no finer troops or more gallant troops in all the world." From 1901 to 1914, people across Canada gathered in public squares and celebrated February 27th as Paardeberg Day, a celebration of the country's first foreign military victory, a recognition of the Canadians who served and died in the Second Boer War, and an affirmation of English Canada's loyal ties to the British Empire. That celebration would end with the coming of the Great War and eventually be replaced by Remembrance Day, solemnly celebrated on November 11th, representing the armistice in that war.